بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم جميعا. Good morning everybody. Would like to thank Arab Advisors Group and Mr. Jawad in particular. I'll be talking about the mobile telecom industry, the smartphones and applications, evolutions, opportunities and trends. Just to start, if we think about the mobile telecom industry a few years ago, the boundaries and territories were very clear between the three main players in this industry: the network providers, the handset manufacturers, and the operators who used to own the full interaction with the customer and the user experience. Yet, since the launch of the mobile phones, there were trials to do what's so-called smartphone, which is going beyond the basic telecom service of messaging and voice. The real evolution actually started with the iPhone launch in 2007. That have changed the whole game of the industry, and we started in a new era where the whole ecosystem of the mobile telecom have actually started changing. Since that launch in 2007, there is a continuous growth of the smartphone adoption all over the world, and this is also expected to go much further in the next years. What we have seen so far is just the top of the iceberg. Still, the blue ocean is coming, where most of the phones right now are feature phones, and expectations that with the time the smartphone is going to take over most of the mobile phone industry. All analysts are predicting that smartphones market is continues skyrocketing the growth rate. This growth is expected to go for the coming years. IDC is expecting that the shipment of the smartphones in 2015 will be a 1 billion phone. Right now, there are around 40% of the US market are smartphones, and this is going all over the world, and it's also coming to this region and part of the world. What's also noticed that the smartphone adoption is growing over all ages. Yes, it's more in the young generation, but with the time, it's also going towards the older generations. When we talk about smartphones, applications is part of this growth, and it's fueling actually the growth of the smartphones. Again, the predictions here that we will be seeing an exponential growth of the usage of the applications or the download of the applications. Also, we are noticing on the major stores, the Apple App Store and the Android market, and a great growth. We're talking about triple the number of the applications in the stores in just 1 year. And this is also expected to go more and more with more penetration of the smartphones. Again, all analysts are also expecting that skyrocketing growth rate of the applications, more customized and local applications will be generated in different parts of the world. The revenue expected out of this application is also a big opportunity for developers all over the world. The good thing for the operators that these applications are driving a growth in the data usage. And as we can see, in just a year, the usage of the data on the operator's network is almost doubled on these smartphones. The lead here is for the Android and for the Apple operating systems. But we can also notice here the Windows 7, since it's been launched, it's also doubled its data usage. That growth in data usage did not actually double the revenue for the operators, because we have also noticed at the same time there is a drop in the data prices all over the world. In the US, it was 43% in just a year, the drop in the data rates. Of course, what's growing this growth in the data usage is mainly the applications, and on the other side is the easiness and smooth of accessing the social networks through the smartphones. In line with that, this is a snapshot of the Saudi market. This data is basically from the STC network. We're seeing here a similar trend of the smartphone adoption rate growth. BlackBerry had the lead since it's been in the market older than the other operating systems, but yet we can notice that especially starting 2011, the iPhone and the Android are taking up, and we expect this to go at a higher rate in the next years. Also, the international studies and reports is ranking the Saudi market among the top 10 countries where mobile applications adoption rate is growing. In the Saudi market, in this year, in 2011, the adoption of applications have gone 400%, which is a very high rate, and it's ranked the 5th in the world. Also, the predictions of the analysts that this region, the Middle East and Africa, is the highest data on mobile usage. Yes, we have started late in this region compared to Europe and North America, but again, the expectations that this is going to go at a higher rate, and the adoption of the mobile internet is going to be very high. One thing which is going to fuel this increase in smartphone adoption and all over the world is the entry of the new budget smartphones. Now, when we say smartphones, usually we think of high-end and mid-end devices. But what's going to happen, and which actually already started, is the entry of the low-end smartphone, mainly from Chinese manufacturers. These have already, as I said, been in the market. Right now, they are only having 5% market share, but all predictions that this is going to be much higher in the coming years. Expectation is by 2015, around 300 million low-cost smartphones is going to be sold. If we compare it to the earliest figure that I stated, that means it's more than 30 or 40% of the smartphones are going to be a budget smartphone. This is going to have a big change on many people's life. Many people in the third world did not yet have an access to internet, and some of them will have the first chance to access internet is through smartphone, not a regular desktop or laptop. This is going to have a very positive impact on their life and new hope in their, and socioeconomic advancement on their all aspects of their lives. This would have an impact on the OEMs, just like the move that we have seen in the telecom infrastructure when the Chinese company got into the business and they have started taking big market share. It's also expected to happen the same on the smartphones. With the time, we'll see more adoption of the low-end smartphones, and it's going to take a big part of the market share. Operators are expected to welcome these low-end smartphones to actually penetrate more the market where the data usage will be higher from the different segments. The other thing, the low-cost smartphones will save the operators the subsidization money. We know that subsidization is putting a lot of pressure on the profit margin for operators. So another option of lower cost smartphones, that pressure will actually be a bit relieved. If we compare the picture with the first picture that we have seen in the old days, now it's not clear separated territory between the players in the mobile telecom ecosystem. It used to be clear boundaries between the infrastructure providers, the handsets, and the operators. Now we would see all of these, the device manufacturers, the operators, and the operating system and the content, they all have same access to the customer. They are all now part of the user experience. This is creating pressure on everybody, and mainly the operator, where he used to dominate the relation with the customer. So a lot of things are changing, and a lot of strategies are changing right now. Partnership between these different players is becoming a must. Collaboration is also essential at this stage. When we talk about operators, what's the challenges and the opportunities with the new ecosystem? We have said that operators used to dominate the relation with the customer. Now with the adoption, the high adoption of the smartphones and applications, operators are supposed to do more investment on the broadband network to carry the traffic from these phones. They have to put more in subsidizing the smartphones, which is putting a pressure on the profit margins. And operators used to sell value-added services and self-generated content at a good margin. Nowadays, the applications and content on the applications is replacing this. This is when we think of the challenges for the operators. But on the other hand, there's a good opportunity for the operators to gain from this evolution of the smartphones. The operators can be smarter on structuring the pricing, doing tiering pricing where they can charge different rates for different type of usage. The growth in data is actually bringing more usage on the network utilization and more money. Operators as well can facilitate the billing for the applications so they can share the revenue with the developer and the platform owner. Another thing that operators own right now is the information about the customer, where this as well can be sold to the content providers or the application stores at a certain time.